Cause hey y'all, thank y'all for joining us tonight. We have Miss Latasha.
Hey,
Thanks, brother. Okay, okay, Miss Latasha, which one of your parents are or was incarcerated?
my stepfather was incarcerated.
Okay, okay. Um, how old were you when he became incarcerated?
I don't know any time that he wasn't while he was alive. So him and my mom got together when I was very young,
Hmm.
and I don't remember him not, you know, all of my life.
Oh, okay, okay. So is he still alive or is he deceased?
No, he was killed by the cops in 2010.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. So what were, if you don't mind sharing, what were his charges?
Very often drug related, um, and I'm sure there was a homicide in there somewhere or another. Definitely assault charges, and who knows what else. But
Okay.
those, I'm confident.
Okay. Did you have any siblings that were from your that were from your father? Any step?
Um, from my stepfather, I do have a sister that I grew up with,
Okay. All right. Compound.
and he
She's
had a son from a previous relationship who ended up living with us for a while. And he ended up getting killed in something drug related as well.
Oh wow. Okay. So how was life growing up having a parent that was incarcerated? Did you do visitation, phone calls?
It was very, very annoying, and it was all of the above. So every weekend we would go visit my stepfather whenever he was incarcerated, and we did a lot of time at Rikers. But he, he was a predicate felon. He committed big, big crimes.
Mhm.
So those trips up to Attica and Ossining and Clinton, those are like all weekend trips. So I would like lose my entire weekend
Mhm.
traveling upstate on the bus. Then you got to change in the little visitors lounge, get on another bus to the jail, wait because you can't have but so many visitors at a time. Then come back on the bus to wait in the visitors lounge for the next person to go. Like the whole weekend would be gone. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, my friends are asking Kiki, like, girl, I'm
Right.
trying to sleep.
Right. So did you say that he was at Clinton Correctional?
Mm-hmm.
My father was at Clinton Correctional for
Oh, wow.
a good while when they brought him back into the States. He was there for a long time. So I think I probably know the inside and outside of the
Right. And I
room.
wouldn't be surprised if they knew each other.
Right, right. Definitely. Definitely. Okay. So did your mom do his bid with him every time he became incarcerated?
Every time. Uh, up until up until when they got separated. Whenever they were separated, she wasn't like running up back and forth to the jail, but whenever they were actively together, yeah, every time. Every time. I'm pretty sure they invented ride or die to describe my mother.
Oh, whoa. Oh, so he was in there.
She's in there. The guards know her. She know them. She was in there.
So was your mom a part of the prison wife community? You
No,
know,
my mother don't like nobody. She a true Capricorn. She don't
okay.
like
So
and
she
she
only
yeah. If you're looking for community in that space, sis ain't it for you. She was
wow.
not.
Okay, okay. Okay. So I guess a lot of people that follow me always want to know about Rikers. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity to tell them what it's like going to visitation at Rikers. How
The
disgusting.
boat is the worst, and it's always been the worst. I don't even know how it's still open. Like I've participated in active protests to get Rikers closed. It is and always has been disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about it is humane. Rikers might have been like one of like one of the big turning points for me in my adult life, where I was very clear that the Department of Corrections really is the Department of Prisons.
Right.
Those are the same thing. You're not
Right.
trying to correct anything in that space. Nothing about that space is going to help anybody transition from a life of crime to reinstating themselves back into society as a good adult. No,
Right.
that shit is criminal haven. Like we gonna end up your crime. We call it we call
Right.
it like college. So if you went in on like something small, you will have a better grasp on how to do the bigger crimes by the time you get out.
Exactly. Yep. Absolutely. Um, and explain to them how visitation went for you at Rikers, like the process of going to visiting at Rikers.
Okay, so we get there. I'm from New York City, so we take the regular transportation
Mhm.
to like the entrance, and then you take the transportation out to where they bring you in, like for visitation. So when you first get in, and this, I haven't been to Rikers in a very long time. Um, I stopped going to Rikers probably in the sixth grade, so this would be like the early '90s. I can
Mhm.
only assume it's still the same, but when you get there, you feel like you the criminal, right? So you come through the gate, you get to like that TSA line where you got to put all your stuff, to go through and get checked. They checking you. I remember vividly just feeling like I was checking myself into jail. Like, I was like, why are we doing this again? Like, so y'all about to go through all my shit, and if it seemed like I got some shit on me, you finna pat me down?
Right.
The fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And then, and then I remember you would come through the gate part. They would check your stuff. I would have to wait on the other side of the gate. I feel like there were some little seats there before. I don't know if they're still there, but we
Yeah.
would wait there in case they needed to like pat you down or like further go through your shit. And then they'd walk you to or lead everybody to like the big room where everybody had their visitation. And it'd be like those airbrush walls. Like if you're from New York, think like the old movie theaters that had like where you take the pictures at. So they got like the airbrush shit on the wall, like you came to take photos, like it's fucking Sears or something. And then on the other side, it's all the vending machines with shit you really don't want to eat, but what the fuck else are you going to eat? Those stale ass burgers, a bunch of chips, like a juice machine, and then there was like the door on the side of the vending machine where you could go outside when the weather was good.
Right.
Um, but the whole shit just fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Like I remember, it's many many years later, and the thought of it is agitating me.
Hmm. The smell there
Oh
is
my God. It's everything about it felt like jail. Like as soon as we would get home, clothes off, take a shower, like I need to be reinitiated into free life. So
right. Right.
wash this shit off of me. But all of it, I remember like my stepfather's jail buddies when they family would come. I guess this is like the prison wife community you were talking about. Like
Mhm.
he would introduce us to them and their families and like, oh, if you need anything, and my mother would be like, sis, I don't fucking know you and I don't need nothing. Good day. Sit down and enjoy your husband. We're not doing
Sheesh. Okay. TJ so silly. Okay, TJ, I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna ask her that in a minute. Okay, so do you remember or did y'all ever take like the prison gap bus from the bureau to upstate to Clinton?
so I don't know if this was the prison gap bus or like I can only assume that that's what it was
Hmm.
because we would take like whoever was running the bus out of the city to upstate.
Hmm.
We would take the bus from 161st by Yankee Stadium. We would take the bus upstate and then we would get to like some resting or holding place and then we would take another bus to the jail. So I'm assuming that that's what that
Yeah.
bus is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gap. And for those of y'all who don't know what prison gap is, it's actually it was a group of felons that started like a transportation line to make sure that everybody was able to visit their families. So they have like buses that they send to like Queens, Manhattan, just like to one of the boroughs. You meet there, they get you on a bus, they take you upstate, drop you off, pick you up. If you stayed like for the whole weekend, Of course, they'll do like a hotel drop off, but that was just a way for people to be able to go and see their families coming from the boroughs to upstate, because it's kind of like driving from Jacksonville to Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what that is when I say prison
I live
gap.
in Florida now, so that is a very accurate.
Oh, you live in Florida too?
Yeah.
Okay. Me too. Yeah. Okay. So as far as like, mm, as far as financially, did your mother support your father while he was incarcerated? Like, did they take any?
He supported everybody.
Oh,
Still does. I this is why, like, when I get on my rants with people who are just, oh, marriage this, marriage that. First of all, you can be married and very much be a single parent, because
mhm,
my mother was. She was taking care of her usually locked up ass husband.
mhm.
But she was with my father. She took care of his ass. And she took care of her two kids. She literally was the financial backing for our family, for, that portion of our family, forever, ever and a day. And then when he moved his son across country and with us, he didn't even ask her.
Oh, wow.
And my mom, being the kind-hearted person she is, she took him in, and I'm like, you adding another mouth to the household, but you ain't adding no income.
Right.
Because you keep saying you got this man. And my stepfather was a hustler,
Mhm.
but not only is hustle money not consistent, we all know that most people that hustle don't know how to save money, conserve money, and they damn sure don't prioritize money. They're not even prioritizing their own safety. So let's not let's not pretend that at
Right.
this juncture all of a sudden they're gonna be on the Forbes list for saving fucking money, because they're not. So very often, the minute he got it, it was gone, and he wasn't a consistent economic contributor to our life.
Okay. But when he had it, did he like put up a fight to contribute?
Put up a fight to contribute? Nah, no, no, no. Like, whenever he did have it, if my mom got some money out of him, like my stepfather was, we didn't have the best relationship. In general, just because I came out the womb clear on how to identify bullshit from a mile away and how to call bullshit from a mile away. So we didn't have, like, we weren't tight or no shit like that. And one of those reasons is because my stepfather was one of those people where if he did for you, he reminded you that he did it. First of all, motherfucker, you're an occasional doer. So let's not.
Not the occasional.
Like, let's knock it off. But he was one of those people. Like, if he did something for you, the minute y'all got in an argument, he was gonna remind you that he did it. So in large part, it's like, don't nobody even want shit from you.
Right.
Cause I'm not trying to hear that shit. You should contribute. You live here.
Right. Let me see. Um,
Like, what about the vows confuse your ass? And my mom and her husband got married in jail. I think they got married at Rikers.
oh, okay. So listen, well, let me pick this question because I think I saw something that was kind of, let me see. But they met
Oh, they knew each other way
before
before he
he was,
locked up.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, by the time they met, he was already immersed in criminal life because he started in his teen years.
Okay.
From my understanding, what I was told, and obviously I didn't know him because I wasn't born yet,
Mhm.
but or we, and he obviously wasn't in our space because my mom was with my dad. But what I was always told was that his first crime, the first big crime, was at 16, and it was for shooting at a sheriff. I was like, that is a large crime as a teenager.
Right.
At 16, I was trying to get some sneakers, maybe get to the movies and sit next to the boy I like. You're shooting at law enforcement.
Uh-huh.
That is a large fucking crime as a teenager. So very clearly, by the time my mom met him, he was very immersed in, his life of crime.
Now I'm just gonna ask.
You
Only
ask?
father is your stepfather or was your stepfather, was he American?
Yes.
Okay, because I was about to say
Yeah.
I know sometimes these um just from my father, ones that are not, they tend to be
Right.
American because they're, let me see, introduced to this lifestyle of like going back and forth from the States to here. So I was just curious about that. Okay. TJ said, did your mom ever participate with introducing contraband into the institution. She's talking about the statute of limitations is up.
I'm an attorney, baby. We don't play those kind of games. My mother was not involved in any crime. Next question.
Okay. Okay. The next one. Did y'all meet or make jail cousins?
I didn't make no jail cousins. When I tell y'all my mama was not with the shits, negative. I got a big ass family. We got enough cousins and enough of my uncles stay locked up that me and my real cousins was on the visits together any damn way.
Right. Blossom said, was your mom going to see him every weekend?
Every damn weekend.
Oh,
Every weekend.
sis wasn't missing them visits.
At all. And at one point, I want to say it had to be around sixth or seventh grade. I was like, listen, you chose to marry that man, not me. I'm not going to jail with you every weekend anymore. Like I just stopped going. I was like, I'm gonna stay across the street at my grandmother's house because I'm going to skate key and I'm going to the movie. I'm gonna have my junior high school love affairs with a boy that don't know I like him. I
Right.
am not coming up to the jailhouse with you anymore. And if your husband wants to see me, he should stay out of jail.
Right. Look,
Because I'm ready to.
you was doing weekend time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why am I inmate?
Right. Weekend time. Pink said, did they have conjugal visits? Or I'll say this, did y'all do trailer visits?
Oh, my mom did trailer visits.
Okay.
My mom did trailer visits.
Okay.
It was, you know, I was spending no night at no damn. I didn't want to be there for the damn day.
Me. The whole the entire weekend I was there.
Negative, negative. Mm-mm.
So considering you said that he was a hustler, did he have a hustle while he was incarcerated?
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. I am 3,000% positive. Now, do I know what it was? I don't. So I'm not going to lie or speculate. But it would be very hard for me to believe that he did. No one's gonna convince me he was the model prisoner.
Right. Okay.
That wasn't his brand.
Did your mom have a little side piece out in the free world so your dad came home?
My mother keep a side piece in the free world, whether you home or not.
You hear that, Blossom? She said she wasn't that kind of fool. She have her little something.
Period.
Okay. Mm-mm. How long did he serve?
um, Literally probably for the majority of my life. So he passed in 2010. I think and that was the longest stretch he had been out of jail. He had been out of jail 3 years at that point. That had been the longest stretch. So he had never did more than like maybe a year and a
Mhm.
half out. He'd get out, a year and a half would pass, he'd be right back in for like another 5, 7. Like he did a lot. Most of his life was behind bars.
Wow. You think he liked being there?
I don't know if he liked it so much as it was what he understood.
Okay. Okay. Did your family move or travel to visit or be closer to him when he was
Hell
ever?
no. Hell
Okay.
no. Hell no.
She said, I'm already taking care of everything financially. I'm not relocating.
Period.
Oh, but so with your peers, were you ever questioned like where your father was? I mean, I know we was always told like, oh, he's at college or whatever they used to be telling us, that he was at.
My father was known in the neighborhood for being a killer. They knew where he was.
Oh, okay. No putting sugar on top
Because
of.
everybody knew who he was and what he was about. He was literally known for what he did. No, we knew. Everybody knew.
Oh gosh. Okay. So no hiding there. Let me see. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Let me see if I'm. Did I miss any questions, Pink? Hmm.
Nah, that's all the one.
That's all I'm supposed to. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, so you said that he was killed by the cops in 20.
2010.
How did that situation occur?
So it was the night before his birthday. Very ironically, him and my mom were finally getting back on good terms.
Mhm.
And my mom made dinner for his birthday. After he left the house, so my family lives very close together. Like there's 5 blocks of nothing but my relative. So he was in one of their buildings. probably drinking and celebrating because, like I said, his birthday was about to be at midnight. Um, and I grew up in a neighborhood that is still occupied by the police, and I don't know like the particulars of it because I wasn't there. What I do know is he got into it with the cops on the roof of my grandmother's building and fell off, even though they had a whole scuffle and they pushed him. Um, my
Oh,
stepfather had a long, contentious relationship with our local precinct for all of the obvious reasons that I've discussed. He was
right.
a known, predicate felon. He had a lot of bad relationships with our local precinct. And our local precinct wasn't, these wasn't no model cops. Like there was a point where they swept the precinct because half of them were crooked and
Right.
engaged in the same. The reason they got the contentious relationship is because they all engaging in the same bullshit
Right.
together. Um, and over the years, that just the bad blood between them kind of escalated. So while I don't know specifically what prompted the fight on the roof between him and two of the cops, but that is what happened.
So he fell off the roof. Okay, and why? Did they did they pay y'all out anything for that situation?
Did they what?
Did they pay? Did y'all get like a payout for that?
No, we tried to sue. So when you apply, you have to apply to sue a municipality, and they have to have enough evidence for the lawsuit to even be
Hmm.
like to move forward. So because all of a sudden the tape went missing, that we can't find the neighborhood tape that's under constant surveillance
Right.
24/7 since at least the mid 90s. My neighborhood has been under surveillance. But now we can't find the tape. The tape got lost. And so they didn't have enough circumstantial evidence um, to move forward with the case. So never no payout for what we went through a whole heap of shit with insurance because like I then the cops tried to say he committed suicide. He didn't fall, he jumped. So the insurance didn't want to pay out. So we had to go through a whole situation with them. It took us probably well over like 7 to 8 months to get the insurance payout after my stepfather was killed. So when I say put us through the ringer with the bullshit, I was like, y'all working my fucking nerves even in death. Like,
Right.
good lord.
So how did that affect like your mom? I know you said you have a sibling that was by him as well. Like, how did that affect y'all as a whole?
Um, I don't. It was. I mean, obviously the very normal things that come with losing somebody in your family, and grief and all those things. For me, my focus was just kind of showing up for my mother and my sister. Like I mean, I just lived in this space. I live in reality. I've always been clear this man is gonna die in jail or in a violent manner. Him
Hmm.
dying in a violent manner, it was what I expected. Not, I don't have a better way to word that, and I don't have a sensitive way to word that. But for the majority of my life, that is what I had always been mentally prepared for. That he is either going to die in jail or die violently on the streets or die violently in jail. Might be
Hmm.
a combo of the two. So when it happened, I was obviously very shocked just because I was shocked. I was on my way to a club. That was my second year of law school. I was on my way to a club and, everybody was blowing up my phone. And then when I stopped, to call somebody back, call my best friend back, it took me aback like any other death would. But then after that, I just kind of went into my regular mode. I'm the family mortician, so I just kind of went into my regular. Okay, what do we need to get done? What do we need to do about this? What do we need to do about that? And got on the next thing smoking. Came home, made sure my mom was okay, made sure my sister was okay, and I think the hardest part, at least for me, was like it was the first time that I'd gone to the ME for the body identification. I had never done that. I'm always the person to go to the funeral home first, but by then they've already judged up the body, and
Right.
the body is prepped. So that was the first time that I went to the ME. Um, so that was a very just kind of cold experience for me. I never had it. I don't ever want to have it again.
Hmm.
Um, But that probably was the most difficult portion of dealing with that whole situation for me. Because beyond that is what I expected.
Right. Okay. Okay. Amy says since he was known as a killer, did that stop people from messing with y'all because they still haven't reached while in inside?
My whole family fight real bad.
Hmm.
So we were like, we're not a family that really gets like, we don't have a lot of problems in that kind of way anyway. It's a lot of us, and we are of the New York of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So we don't really have those kind of problems in general.
Okay.
Like I said, my stepfather wasn't very often locked up alone. I'm on visit with my real cousin because my real uncle is also locked up too. So we didn't
the,
really have those kind of issues.
the whole team is there. It's just the family.
Everybody locked up. Like when I went to law school and everybody was like, "Are you going to practice criminal law?" I said, "Absolutely not. I'd never make a dollar. All of you are criminals.
Right. Right.
When
We
would I get paid?"
pro bono every time.
Exactly.
Pro
When
bono
would I
every
get
time.
paid?
Chris said, was your mom prepared for that reality like you were?
Um, I would say so. I would say so. I would say so. Like I said, my mom handled the death, I think, as best as anybody can handle losing their spouse for umpteen years. Because for a large part of their marriage, he wasn't in the household.
Hmm.
So logistically, a lot of things didn't change. And when he passed away, they were separated. They literally had just started like reconnecting. They had been separated for a couple of years. So again, he wasn't in the household. He wasn't a part of our everyday. So logistically, nothing really changed with him dying, except knowing that he's never going to come back.
Right.
Um, from just from my seat, she seemed to handle it well, as best as possible. Not well, like nobody's throwing no fucking confetti because their husband's dead. But she handled it with as much grace as she handled it with more grace than me. I'll say that. Like I said, they had been separated for a very long time at that point, and my mom was off living her life. He was off living his life. They were literally just starting to reconnect again, literally just starting. So when he did pass away, my mother reached out to the woman he had previously been with and told her she can come. She did need permission because my mother don't play. I
Right.
say my mom will knock shit the fuck out. Sis is not the one. So she reached out to her. She told her, "You can come. I know y'all were together for a while. I'm sure you are hurting just the same way I am. So you're welcome to come." She invited her back to the house after the repast. And I was like, that's very classy of you, mommy. I
Right.
respect it a lot. Me personally, I'm not that big a bitch. I don't give a fuck what anyone. Period. Bitch, you sitting in the back. Honestly, you might have to watch this on fucking Zoom.
Oh my gosh. She got to watch the stream of her.
Period. We'll send you a link, honey.
Oh my god. Oh, Natasha said not to be insensitive, but was there a sense of relief for your mother seeming to be finally free from the hold he had on her with all this drama?
Um, I don't think that's insensitive. I think that's a valid question. And I think because they have been separated so long at the point where he died, I think she had already kind of felt free from his bullshit. Because Sis was living a life. Sis was on a living spree. A life
Oh,
was being lived.
she was out.
So yeah,
Oh,
Sis was definitely living a life. So I don't know. I think she might have already felt some of that relief, but that's a conversation she would have with like my aunts or one of her good girlfriends. I I don't know. I couldn't answer that honestly. From my seat, she seemed to have already found some relief in their separation, and I would reasonably deduce that whether you feel guilty about it or not, that you have to feel a little bit of relief from knowing you don't have to endure that shit anymore.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Miss Blossom said, what strength did your mom pull from to help her stay focused while your stepdad was away?
Questions that need answers, sis, because I'm asking daily. I'm I'm asking daily. I really don't know. But my mom is that person in our family. She's that person. She's the second. She's the youngest girl and the second youngest child of my grandmother's 7 kids. Yet you would think she's the oldest. She has always, carried the family in that way. So honestly, I don't know. It's a question I ask often. I ain't got it. I tell them all the time. Like when my grandmother died, obviously some of the family dynamic shit, but we were all clear on who the next matriarch was, who was going to be hosting Thanksgiving, who was going to be doing this, who was going to be picking up the traditions like we knew. I've been very clear with them. When we lose my mom, you motherfuckers are on your own.
You're not representing them in court. You're not taking over the holiday
I
dinners.
said,
You
you can
not
stop trying to groom me because, baby, I'm not fit to do it. I'm not. Not
look.
ever.
We respect that. We respect that.
Get somebody else to do it.
Right. Said, why did your mother stay with him if he was known to stay in the prison system?
I couldn't answer that. I really couldn't answer that. I have no idea what about him drew her in. So I couldn't tell you. I
Okay.
really couldn't.
He must have been nice with it when he came home.
Must have been. Must have been.
Oh
I really could not tell you.
goodness. Did she decide to quit dating men that frequently found themselves in jail?
Um, yes and no. Mostly yes. But there were still some stragglers from like her younger days that made their way back every now and again. So mostly yes, she has stopped dealing with that genre of men, but there
Mhm.
was still a sprinkle of some old school nigga that made his way back.
Did she remarry or is she still single?
No, no, she's a widower. Sherry ain't never remarrying another soul in life.
Okay, okay, okay. About to say, don't mess up that. Some people don't remarry for the benefits. I don't think I would.
Listen, I be trying to give people, I be trying to put people on the game, but everybody got a web JD, so they know how the law work better than my card carrying ass. Fuck I'm
Right,
arguing with you. Do
right.
what you want. Do what you want.
So since you didn't do, criminal law, what law did you do?
So I do mostly business and tax, but I also have entertainment and sports clients.
Okay, okay. So when y'all mess up on that tax return this year, I'm gonna have to send you on over to Tasha.
Run that ass down. Y'all know where to find me.
Right. All right. Okay, y'all in the comment section, do y'all have any more questions? Make sure I didn't miss any as well. Let's see. And you can tell them whatever else you want them to know as well while I'm going through the comments, just trying to make sure I got everybody's questions answered.
Okay. So like I had mentioned, like I had to have like a sit down with my mom when I was like 10. I think that's like the biggest thing that goes very overlooked for the kids that have to deal with a parent being locked up. I'm fortunate in the fact that my family lives in such close proximity that my mother always had childcare once I took my stand because I was done 10 toes down on that hill. Sis, I'm not getting on another boat, bus, transportation, nowhere. If you want to see me, stay the hell out of jail. But a lot of people don't have that kind of support. And so the kids really don't have the option to take that stand because it's like, okay, well, where the fuck you gonna go if you're not coming with
Right.
me up to jail? And I think it's a conversation that isn't had often enough. It's very much like people act like, oh, you got locked up, and even prison wife has the term. There's a whole definition, and you understand what it is. But literally, nobody talks about what that shit looks like for small children who are going to jail on a regular basis. Also, what kind of just like lasting traumatic effect that can have on somebody. Like, who the fuck wants to get pat down as a 7-year-old? You know what I mean? Like, coming into a jail facility. I'm trying to go to Chuck E. Cheese, sis. I
Right.
am not trying to go to the jailhouse. A lot of that experience dictated the way I dated, in a good way, though. But for most people, it's not in a good way. Most people mimic what they see. I was
Right.
completely clear. I'm not dating nobody that sold nothing on the street. If you hustle, baby, you're not dating me. You
Hmm.
got many kids, bye. Not interested. Not doing it. Get somebody else to do it. And when I say I've never dated a quote unquote street guy in my life, not never, because I'm not doing no bid with you. I'm not riding and I'm not dying. We're not doing it. I'm not coming on no conjugals. I'm not sleeping in no trailer unless it's a double wide that I bought, decorated, and used as an Airbnb on the side. It's not happening. I'm not doing none of that shit. And a lot of that is from growing up in the jail system. Like I did not want that for my life. When I was younger, I wanted like 5 kids. I was like, I definitely don't want to be dragging 5 kids up on no
Right.
damn bus up to no jail. Like I was just very clear. Now conversely, like I said, my cousins, they dad was in jail too. And they were just inherently attracted to that life. Most of them dated street dudes. And I was like, are we not having the same damn experience?
Right. Right.
You not see where this shit is gonna go?
What about your sister?
Um, my sister's a different kind of Nick Kaput. But she's never dated anybody street.
Okay.
Like, all of her girlfriends have always been like, you know, women with regular jobs, women that she met through school. And listen, we were very clear. We're not doing this shit.
Okay.
That shit is
Mm.
not happening. Not not happening. I don't know how what trauma it may have left on her though. She's never my little sister is not someone who like openly talks about whatever's bothering her. And then she just randomly throws up and blows up one day. So she I really wouldn't know. I can reasonably deduce that there had to be some inherent trauma
Mhm.
to being that young and spending that much time in that kind of facility.
Right.
But I don't know how it affected her.
Okay. Okay. Uncle TJ said, I really want to know, do males actually have homeboys who throw their wives and
It's
kids?
probably money when they book.
Oh, throw their wives and kids money?
Well, put money on their books.
Oh, put money on their books. Okay. So did
Yeah.
your father's friends like assist financially with you, your sibling, your mother?
Well, not so that I can't answer with with any modicum of knowledge because I don't know. So if anybody that my stepfather hustled with on the outside was giving my mother anything, I wouldn't have known. I will say it did not seem like it. Now, if anybody was putting money on his books though, which is
Hmm.
a completely different thing, yes.
Okay.
Not loads and lots because my mother was still carrying the bulk. But I don't have any reason based off of the life I lived to think that anybody was really giving my mother any money like that. I just do I know for sure? No, I don't. But do I think they were? No, I
Oh,
don't.
okay. Uncle TJ said, at what age should you be able to choose whether you want to visit?
I think at the age that you're able to articulate it.
Okay.
So
And
like I said, everybody doesn't have the luxury of child care. So unfortunately for some kids, they are gonna have to make that visit whenever their, you know, non-incarcerated parent decides they're making that visit. I had the fortune of having most of my family in close proximity, so there was never any version of the story where it was going to be like, well, who you going to stay with? Pick a grandmother, any grandmother, because they both live across the street from each other, and
right.
you can see in each other's windows from my grandmother's windows. Baby, I'm not going nowhere no more.
Look, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay. You kind of answered this in a way. Latasha said, were any of your siblings, cousins negatively affected by the frequent visits they follow in his footsteps or take other positive routes like you did?
So, me and my sister, positive routes. Some of my cousins went the same route. Um, Ended up in jail and or ended up with someone who was in jail. Um, I'll say this for the ones that ended up going to jail, they have made leaps and bounds strides in their lives to turn their lives around.
Okay.
Very fucking impressed and proud of them. But yeah, at the younger age, like when we were in high school, definitely when I was in college, yeah, a lot of my cousins mimicked the behavior. Like I said, my uncles were also in the street, so it was family business as usual,
Right.
to some extent. And yeah, they followed suit, and many of them did end up in jail. But by God's grace and mercy, and them just getting their heads on straight, when I say every single one of my cousins that has been locked up that I grew up with, like my cousins in my immediate space that I might have been on a visit with, have all turned their lives around.
Well, that's awesome. That's
It's
awesome.
some impressive shit. It is quite impressive because I
Yeah.
just think that it in them.
Look, well, they probably said, let me get this together because we know cousin Tasha's not coming to visit us or represent us.
Correct. When I was in college, one of my cousins that I'm really close to, he was locked up upstate, and I went to school in Buffalo. He was like, "You're not even far." I said, "I don't give a fuck. I went upstate for an education, not to
Right.
visit jail. Boy, I'm going to a frat party to grind on somebody's favorite son. I'm not coming to
Right.
jail."
Oh man. He wanted you to come on visit. Let's see, got anything else?
No, I said you. I told him the same thing I told my stepfather. You want to see me? Stay out of jail,
Right.
because
Miss
I'm
Tina,
free.
when kids do go visit parents incarcerated, I would think most of the visit is between the adults. What do the children do besides vending machines and sitting at the table? Tina, they have most facilities have like a section, like a play section, play area for kids. Sometimes they do have the outside open for them to go out there and be able to play as well. It's not like no playground equipment or anything out there, but they do have books, puzzles, toys, dolls, all kind of toys that the kids can check out. So
Mhm.
yeah, play while they're on visit. Let's see.
And some of them be making jail cousins, like you mentioned, and they play with the other kids. Kids
Yeah,
will make up shit in their head to have a good time. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't playing with nobody.
Did y'all have to put the pause on the people talking shit about your people being in prison?
No, because everybody knew we fight. I come from a very big family of scrappers. We are very much known in the neighborhood for kicking ass. So
They ain't want those problems. They ain't want those
those are
problems.
not those are not problems you volunteered for. Also, I grew up in the Bronx in the 80s. Like you really have to remember everybody is pretty much a criminal in
Mhm.
my neighborhood in some shape, form, or capacity. Like you got the grandmothers that go to work and trying to carry the family, raise the kid because they son or daughter is locked up or whatever. But everybody, for the most part, had some kind of hustle and was engaged in the same kind of street lifestyle. So for the most part, none. Like y'all know what it is and y'all know what it ain't. And my family is 5 blocks deep, and ain't none of us finna walk away or run away from a fight. You say some shit, we was gonna activate immediately. Not one of us, but all of us. You are getting jumped on site. Pick somebody else to do it. So we didn't really have those issues. We just didn't. Like I'm sure other kids, like in different kinds of communities,
Mhm.
probably have it. But so many of us that grew up together had people locked up. It's like, what were you gonna say? Oh, that's why your stepfather's in jail, bitch. Your stepfather's his neighbor. They playing the fucking noodles together.
Oh,
So like, we riding on the same bus. I saw you at Rikers too, sis. Knock it
right.
off. So
We was
there
both in.
really wasn't, there was no capacity for those jokes. We were all in it together.
Oh my gosh. Hmm. Oh my gosh, TJ, don't try it. TJ said I didn't have the backstory. Everybody from the Bronx is cuckoo.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Like Charlemagne said, the craziest people are either from the
North
Bronx or Florida.
Florida.
And I'm starting to believe that. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate you coming on. You were,
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
of course, of course. Okay. Well, do y'all have any more questions before she leaves the chat? I mean, before she leaves the live? Nice live. Thank you, Pink. You're right back with nice live. Okay. They don't have any more questions, but I definitely appreciate it. And we'll be contacting you for anybody who decided they want to play on their taxes this year.
Yeah, run me the referrals. I'm here for it.
Okay, have a good night.
And if you find yourself in Orlando, give me a shout.
I will definitely.
All right, y'all have a great night.
You too. Okay, y'all. Got a few church announcements.
You said you gonna talk about my mama thing.
Oh yeah, you got okay. My mind went bad just that quick. Okay, so I got a few church announcements. If y'all did not watch Mama Pink's story on Pink Confinement's platform, I need y'all to go watch that. Run it up to 200 comments so we can get a part 2.
I didn't understand that.
What? Nobody asked you nothing.
So we can get a part 2. I'll be interviewing her and her mom. Also, y'all that have already watched the story, so y'all know that I want to do a Mother's Day do-over for her, since she said in her story that Pink and her siblings were both locked up on Mother's Day. So we gotta make that Mother's Day right. So I will be putting something in the comment section on that video.
Is there something else I can help with?
We got so many phones going on.
Like Alexis, be quiet. Nobody asking you questions.
So we're gonna do the Mother's Day do-over. I'll be putting something in the comment section under that video so y'all can know how y'all can participate. If you choose to participate, great. We appreciate it. Thank you in advance. But if you don't, that's fine as well. But we're gonna do a do-over for her for Mother's Day. So don't forget to go over there and run up the comments to 200. If I got a comment on there 99 times, we're gonna get this part 2. We're gonna get this part 2. What else I had? What else I had to go over?
That's pretty much what you had said. Unless you want to tell them about our blog.
Yes, Donnie, I'm trying to work on it. So listen, I know that she, Pink Mom, she be outside now. You know what I'm saying?
Be outside well.
She like her hotel room.
Hey,
She like her hotel room.
hey, she a nice old lady. She a nice old lady. Look, she a nice old lady.
Is she? Don't call her old lady. She's not even an old lady.
Well, what you want me to say?
She's a nice young lady. Okay, so far, what I do know that I want to do, they haven't had any family pictures taken since they were little. So I want to make sure that they do have a photo shoot with her and her children. Of course, dinner. Hotel room, I'm going to see if I can get that decorated so she can have her weekend of relaxation. And for those of y'all who want to send cards, I'll put my P.O. box in there too. So y'all can send cards. Y'all can put, gift cards in there. She likes cheddar. She likes Longhorn. Y'all can do Visa gift cards. Just Mother's Day cards y'all can send to my P.O. box so we can gift them to her on Mother's Day as well. Let me see what else. I'll leave a Cash App if y'all want to send monetary donations. But when and if you do send monetary donations, make sure you put for Mama Pink, because I don't want any of those funds to be mixed up with any of the other TikTok funds or whatever that people send in for donations. But that's all that I have for tonight. When I have everything typed up and ready to go, I'll put it in the comment section. But again, thank y'all tonight. Oh yeah, that Novocaine drink will take you out, baby. Have my sugar sky high.
Look, Chris, we're gonna make sure she had lemonade with light ice. We ain't doing no Novocaine, Tracy. We ain't doing no Novocaine.
Chris trying to make sure she have a great Mother's Day. Okay? But I'm gonna try to have all of this arranged between now and April the 15th. I don't like to do nothing at the last minute, so I'm gonna try to make sure we got everything in place. But anyways, thank y'all to everybody that joined live tonight. Thank y'all to all my moderators on TikTok and on YouTube. Y'all be doing the damn thing. But anyways, y'all have a good night.